Night, the coastal counties of Kwale, Kilifi and Mombasa closed their entry and exit points beginning 7 p.m. That's about 2 hours, 9 minutes ago, while Nairobi is on its third day of containment. Eunice, how is this working out here in the metropolitan area?
Obey the curfew, stay indoors and do not go outside the Nairobi metropolis. That has been the government's rallying call, repeated day in, day out at each press briefing. It is the government's desperate move to curtail the further spread of COVID-19 disease in the country. These measures, however, are being blatantly disregarded in part of the city. I took a trip to some of these areas last night, and what I find out is quite frankly scary. Take a look.
There will be a daily curfew from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning, with all movement by persons not authorized to do so or not being medical professionals, health workers, critical and essential service providers being prohibited.
The night gathers and our watch begins. We are on Thika Road, one of the busiest highways connecting the now contained Nairobi to other major towns. Now unusually underutilized due to the active curfew and most recent containment.
It is exactly 6 hours after the onset of the dusk to dawn curfew on 8th of April. As expected, it's quiet, no movement, no cars, but we want to do a check and find out if Nairobians are following the laid down rules and if they're following the orders by the president. No movement from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. This is considering that Nairobi is one of the high-risk counties that has the highest number of COVID-19 cases reported this far. Let's take a look.
We shift our focus and divert to Pipeline Estate in Nairobi Eastlands area. In the dark ages of the COVID-19 pandemic in the country, defiance of some is prominent, a total disregard of the dusk to dawn curfew. Boda riders and their passengers calculating routes, the thickest of the curfews within the estates. Other than defying the movement, no masks. Life here seems to be going on as usual. The only disruption perhaps an oncoming vehicle, but only because they don't know if it is the law enforcement or fellow lawbreakers. Police officers were here about 2 to 3 hours after the onset of the curfew, but as soon as their now mastered patrols were done, it's back to business as usual. Shops operate up until midnight. We understand that a majority of these are selling cat to keep the defaulters of the curfew awake and imbibers of the night alert. Windows wide open, chit-chats and purchase going on. For those with a slight remainder of cautiousness, a cardbox surfaces to keep business running. The other businesses of the dark too go on as they have before the COVID-19 disease. The police have been accused of laxity, this after they were accused of using excessive force to enforce the curfew. While other Kenyans are tucked behind their walls to keep the spread of the virus away, socialization goes on in this estate, the chills of the night braced by the warmth of bonfire defying the social distancing rule. And with the spread of the virus now at the community level, this blatant disregard of the law and the laxity in its enforcement means that this courtship dance with potential death in these estates could very well rope in those who are fastidiously following the directive. It means that the next public space that these night owls may patch once daylight come may very well be the right next to you. Eunice Omolo, NTV, Nairobi.